Just like a dragon or a false idol, we made it all up. It doesn't grow out of the earth. It doesn't feed anyone. It doesn't heal anything. It doesn't nourish or shelter, but somehow this digital phantom is treated as more valuable than water, air, food, and even human health and quality of life. Why? Because we all agreed to pretend. In this video, I'm not here to sell you crypto, and I'm also not here to scream conspiracy either. I am here to show you very clearly what Bitcoin actually is, how it functions like a digital god, what it costs to keep it alive, and how we accidentally created something that operates just like an ancient force, an Egregore. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly how Bitcoin works, where it came from, why it costs real lives, not just dollars, and what kind of future we might build instead. I'm Chris Rainwaters, your favorite real estate witch, and I track how energy, money, belief, and the real world all intersect. If you're ready to see through the spell, we're going in. But don't watch this unless you're willing to ask, once the cracks in this illusion are revealed, what kind of future could we then build instead? Let's dive in. Bitcoin isn't traditional money. It's not backed by gold. It's not issued by government. You can't hold it. You can't touch it. You can't eat it, grow it, or use it, really. But it is treated like money, new money, and it comes at a high cost. Bitcoin was created in 2009 by a mysterious figure named Satoshi Nakamoto as a response to the 2008 financial crisis. The idea was to build a decentralized, censorship-resistant digital currency that couldn't be manipulated by banks or governments. That intention, at the time, made sense to many. Control your own money, escape inflation, avoid middlemen. But what actually emerged was something else entirely. Bitcoin, like all money, is a belief system. But unlike dollars, this one lives entirely on a distributed ledger called the blockchain. There's no physical coin, no real vault, no reserve. It's basically a number on a spreadsheet that only holds value because enough traders, institutions, media outlets, and early adopters choose to act as if it does. And the rest of the world follows suit. And the most surreal part is we don't even know who created it. Satoshi Nakamoto is a pseudonym. No one knows if it was a single person, a group, a corporation, or even a government. They disappeared in 2011 after mining the first Genesis blocks and never touched their wallet again. That wallet holds over 1 million Bitcoins, which we collectively have agreed, for whatever reason, is worth billions of dollars. Sure, we've seen irrational markets before. Remember tulip mania? People once spent their life savings on flower bulbs, not because they were useful, but because everyone else was doing it. Hype inflated the value, and when belief vanished, so did the wealth. But Bitcoin hasn't collapsed yet. It's growing, not in the ground, right? But in size, in presence, in appetite. It's a monster, a dragon, an egregore. The more we believe in it, the more real it becomes, and the more it devours. What started as digital fun has become a real-world force with real-world consequences. It doesn't just sit on a screen anymore. It hoards power, burns resources, demands sacrifice, and we keep feeding it. This origin story reads like a myth. A faceless creator, a mysterious birth, and a system left behind with no further instructions. No leader, just code. That mystery fuels its power. Bitcoin wasn't just invented, it appeared. And when something appears, shrouded in mystery and spreads through belief, it stops becoming a tool and becomes lore. So how does Bitcoin enter circulation? It's not printed like dollars, it's mined. But not like gold. So what we're really doing is unlocking something that was already programmed in. Okay, so all 27 million Bitcoins were coded into the Bitcoin network from the start. That number is fixed. Satoshi Nakamoto, Bitcoin's anonymous creator, wrote the protocol so that new Bitcoins are released gradually as rewards to those who validate transactions and secure the network. Basically, mining doesn't create value. It reveals what's already hidden. Picture a vast digital labyrinth. Every 10-ish minutes, a cryptographic vault magically appears. If a miner spots the vault and then solves a brutally difficult puzzle, they win the prize. Inside, a bundle of Bitcoins. When Bitcoin launched, that bundle held 50 coins, then 25, then 12.5. Now it's just 3.125. This halving happens every 4 years, slowly reducing the reward until all 21 million coins have been released. These vaults aren't physical, they're embedded in the protocol. So we're not inventing money, we're just unlocking what was pre-coded in a scavenger hunt that only machines can play. It's like a video game where the prize gets smaller each level, but the difficulty increases and the cost to keep playing grows higher. This is less like mining and more like throwing endless digital darts at a moving target, hoping one hits a precise number that solves a math problem. Not skill, just repetition. The machine that guesses correctly earns the right to add the next block of verified transactions to the blockchain and receives the Bitcoin reward for doing so. So who programmed it? The code, Satoshi. The protocol automatically releases a set amount of Bitcoin with every successful block. No human intervention, just machines performing ritualized guesses to birth new coins. This system is called proof of work, and all that guessing power doesn't do anything functional. It's not simulating climate models, it's not decoding the human genome, it's not curing cancer, it's just burning electricity to update a spreadsheet. We're not mining resources, we're mining belief. And while the number of Bitcoins doesn't grow, what does grow is the number of machines, warehouses, and facilities built to chase the remaining coins. This fantasy now consumes vast 3D, real-world physical space, water, electricity, and it's expanding fast. So what's the harm, right? If it's just machines running numbers, if no one's getting hurt, what's the problem? The problem is that they are. These mining facilities don't exist in the ether. They're physical, enormous, energy-hungry buildings, often parked in rural towns and plugged straight into the local grid. And they're multiplying. Bitcoin mining operations are spreading across the US and globally, often targeting areas with low electricity rates, minimal regulations, and vulnerable rural land. From abandoned factories in upstate New York to converted warehouses in Texas and Appalachia, these facilities are taking over communities with little warning or oversight. To keep the fantasy alive, they burn staggering amounts of electricity, often more than entire countries. A 2022 New York Times investigation found that just 34 Bitcoin mines in the US consume the same amount of energy as 3 million households combined. And what does that power? Nothing but guesses, just machines slamming code against code, trying to unlock the next illusion of wealth. This power demand drives up electricity costs for nearby residents, stresses local grids, and resurrects dying coal plants just to feed the beast. And electricity is just the beginning. These facilities run 24/7, generating intense heat, requiring constant cooling, and producing deafening noise, a non-stop industrial hum that never lets up. Residents near mining sites in North Carolina, Arkansas, and New York have reported mental health issues, sleep disruption, and constant headaches from the relentless mechanical drone. In one legal case, the sound levels inside a home well exceeded 85 decibels, higher than what OSHA considers safe for prolonged exposure. These operations also consume millions of gallons of water for cooling. In Texas, Riot Platforms used over 1.4 billion gallons of water in 2021 alone to cool its mining rigs, a usage rate that directly competes with municipal water supplies and destroys nearby ecosystems. And all of this for the chance to win a prize that has no inherent value beyond belief, a belief that's now scorching the earth, displacing wildlife, and disrupting the lives and health of everyday people. The real world cost of Bitcoin isn't just financial, it's environmental, it's psychological, it's communal. And as long as the illusion holds, we keep paying the price. So if Bitcoin mining is so destructive, why is it even allowed? Why are these energy-hungry, water-draining facilities cropping up faster than ever? Because regulation doesn't stop them, it welcomes them. Many of these mining companies target struggling rural towns, dangling promises of jobs and economic revival. They're lured in by tax breaks, legal loopholes, and subsidies offered by local governments, eager for any sign of economic activity. They intentionally look for struggling rural areas where jobs are scarce and desperation is high and present themselves as saviors. They promise economic growth, innovation, and revitalization. But what actually arrives is a shell operation, a warehouse, a handful of tech jobs, and a spike in utility costs the locals end up paying. Even environmental regulations are often bypassed because Bitcoin isn't categorized as a utility, industry, or even a tangible asset. It slips through legal cracks. And who's writing those laws or failing to? Let's zoom out. In 2024, the US government quietly created a strategic Bitcoin reserve, treating Bitcoin like oil or gold. At the same time, oversight remains almost non-existent. Some states openly market themselves as Bitcoin friendly. Elected officials, either lacking tech literacy or incentivized by donations, push favorable policy. And it gets darker. Donald Trump and his inner circle have direct financial ties to American Bitcoin, a mining company that raised hundreds of millions to build massive mining warehouses. Even Trump Media, the company tied to a sitting president as of this recording, holds billions in Bitcoin. Crypto lobbying is booming. Politicians aren't just supporting the beast, they're feeding it. So this isn't just about individual belief anymore. It's not just a decentralized ideal. It's a centralized illusion with government complicity, corporate gain, and a cost the public is forced to pay. The beast survives not just on belief, but on permission. When there's no law protecting the land, the water, or the people, there's no barrier to belief becoming harm. If you want to understand Bitcoin's true power, don't look at the code, look at the crowds. Because Bitcoin didn't grow because of what it is. It grew because of what people believe it is. Bitcoin isn't just a currency, it's an egregore. An egregore is a psychic entity or energetic force created and sustained by collective human thought, emotion, and ritual. The more people pour belief into it, the stronger and more autonomous it becomes. Historically, this term was used to describe gods, national identities, or even corporations. Any system that feeds off human focus, sacrifice, and belief can become one. Bitcoin fits perfectly. We ritualize it through mining. We evangelize it online. We argue over it in comments and forums. We sacrifice real-world resources for it: time, electricity, water, peace, mental bandwidth, and even ecosystems. We worship its price chart like an altar, celebrating highs, mourning dips, and marking cycles like sacred days. And just like any ancient god, this one demands offerings. It does not give freely, it consumes. Not just energy, but attention, imagination, labor, land, resources. What began as an alternative to the system has grown into a system of its own, no less demanding, no less controlling, one that no longer needs our permission. It simply feeds off of our continued participation. If you want a deeper dive into what egregores are and how they work, I have an entire masterclass on that topic. It's on YouTube as well, and it's linked below. But here's the bottom line. Egregores don't need to be real in the physical sense. In fact, they seldom are. They just need to be real enough to influence behavior. And right now, Bitcoin is one of the most powerful egregores that we've ever created. And what is all of this for exactly? These giant mining facilities, these acres of humming machines and overheated air and drained water sources. Who are they serving? Not your community, not your hospital, not your power grid. These aren't power plants generating electricity. These aren't data centers storing knowledge or curing cancer. They're self-referential machines burning reality to sustain a digital fantasy. And at the top of this mining pyramid, a handful of corporate players and investment firms, some public, many private, who control vast swaths of Bitcoin supply and infrastructure. They're not unlocking some new future for humanity. They're farming belief at scale. And if that's not a perfect definition of an egregore or false idol, then I don't know what is. So who actually benefits from Bitcoin? Let's be honest, it's not the average person scrolling TikTok or working a 9-to-5. The people who benefit the most are the ones who got in early, bought low and sold high, or are holding so much that their wealth is now tied to keeping the fantasy alive. The early miners, the hedge funds, the influencers, the whales. Everyone else is left hoping the number goes up, that their little sliver of the dragon will grow wings and fly them to financial freedom. But this isn't just about profit. It's also about participation, because every time we post about it, invest in it, defend it, mine it, we feed it. We're giving our energy, time, electricity, and attention to a belief system that only survives if we do. And it's not just individuals doing the feeding. Entire towns, cities, even nations are being drawn into this thing. Some regions offer tax incentives for miners. Some welcome them to revitalize the local economy. But instead of jobs or infrastructure, what do they get? Skyrocketing electricity prices, polluted rivers, noise complaints, lawsuits, and in return, a few powerful players walk away with wealth that they can spend anywhere in the world, while the locals are left paying the cost. This isn't about decentralization anymore. This is about exploitation under the illusion of empowerment, and it's working because the dragon keeps growing, not because it's needed, but because it's believed in. And in a belief-based system, belief is the currency. And now that we've seen the monster's face and witnessed its appetite, we can no longer pretend that it's harmless. So how do we slay this proverbial dragon? Luckily, we've already taken the first step right now by naming it. But now the problem is, you can't just fight an egregore because it only makes it stronger. So what we have to do is starve it. You stop feeding it your energy. You question what you've agreed to, and you choose different. Bitcoin doesn't need your blind faith to survive, but it does thrive on it. And I'm not here to tell you to throw your crypto wallet into the recycle bin or whatever, but we can ask better questions. What are we building? What do we want to sustain? What's worth devouring entire towns for? Because if we're going to use this much electricity, if we're going to disrupt this many lives, burn through water, life, and land, shouldn't we be solving something that actually matters? Like restoring ecosystems, feeding people, curing diseases, building shelter, creating local economies, providing solutions to problems from a synergistic view instead of a dominant or hierarchical lens. This dragon isn't going to disappear overnight, but it does weaken with every person who stops worshiping it, with every dollar and intention redirected to something real, with every mind freed from the illusion. We don't have to live inside someone else's twisted fantasy. We can make something better. If this made you pause and ask, wait, what else works like this? You're not alone. I made a free masterclass on egregores, how belief creates reality and how to break the spells we don't even realize we're under. You'll find a link in the description, and it's the next video wherever it pops up here. Anyway, but I'd also love to hear from you. What do you think? Have you ever felt the spell of crypto or something else that looked like freedom but asked for way more than it gave? What should we build instead? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'll be reading and responding to every single one, because it's time we looked beyond illusion and started creating something real. I'm Chris Rainwaters. I track how energy, money, belief, and real life intersect so we can stop feeding what drains us and start building what nourishes. Because once we see through the systems we've inherited, we can finally choose something better and become free to build what's real. Thank you for spending some of your precious time with me today. I can't wait to hear your brilliant thoughts and what we might grow together next.